Well, you rattled off a half a dozen to a dozen things that maybe a coach that might be slightly interested in starting a program might now all of a sudden be going, oh my God, I don't have time for that, right? But here's my point. It's going to happen, right?
It's here.
It's here. In fact, in my humble opinion, it's past due, way past due. So what do we do moving forward as a state? How do we get it to where it really needs to be?
So there's been some conversations with Tyler Brooks at OSA, who's an advocate for us. He's our wrestling guy. And again, I'm just kind of involved a little bit in the discussion, but like, I think OSA, I mean, they know, they want to do it. I think they're trying to figure out what that magic number is, what it looks like at the high school level. They're working with Dom for they're providing some things, the opportunity to maybe get the mats for state over to Davidson for the state tournament, the podium. Those are little things, but they add some value. I think it was 210 last year in the state girls, and I think we're almost at 600 now, and that's in 1 year. I've heard people estimate that 7th and 8th grade has 1,000 between the two of them. So it will not surprise you if you look at seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen, that as you go down, those numbers get bigger. Freshmen have 200 girls. The seniors have 60.
And statewide, take it to the next level. The little girls that are going to be looking up to your set of girls that are in this room, and trust me, I talked to them about it, and when I talked to them a little bit ago in their interviews, they have a responsibility. And I know that from their character and what I learned from them just briefly talking to them, they're ready for that responsibility. And those little girls that are now, think about what the numbers are going to be like then.
Well, we compared a lot to soccer, how soccer was probably when we were in middle school, and then basketball in the 70s. It's like they're still learning the technique, but the next group, these little 6-year-olds, mat rats, they're coming up, and most there's a huge responsibility, and we talk about that pretty regularly. They're probably a little tired of it. I've been bringing in like a different female athlete or coach, not wrestling people, to talk to the girls before each match, and that's what they're drilling in. Like, this is your responsibility. You want to win. Our goal is to win the state title. I don't know if we're good enough to. I think so. I think we're in the mix, but I don't. That's our goal. That's important. But our mission is to grow the sport, to grow wrestling for the girls. And I'm like, I need that in your head 100% of the time. If you feel like sleeping in, if you feel like dogging it during a drill, if you feel like missing weight because you've got to constantly be dialed into the idea that your responsibilities to others around you. And Christy, who blonde-haired wrestle 121 for us, she kind of is heading up some service stuff that the girls are doing, because they want to recognize that going outside of themselves is important too. Working with the youth kids, we got about 6 or 7 girls on the youth team. If they can all bring a friend next year, we'll have 15. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Again, past due, and not to make light of it. I mean, you guys are doing an amazing job. You said, we're going to do this. You stepped up in Central Ohio. You said, we're going to do this. And it's just a matter of time. Now the dominoes are going to start falling, not to.
And there's some other people in town. Hayes has a nice group of girls, Marysville. We went down to Miami East and wrestled, and the Shores, George Shore, the girls coach down there, man, he put a program on, man. It was like they got 20 girls, super fun duel.
What an atmosphere, huh?
It was. He told me the week before, I think we're selling out, and I was like, okay, right, yeah, it was awesome. And
Yeah.
they had their super knowledgeable fan base, so the crowd was in. They were knowledgeable. It was hostile and fun. Yeah, right. It's what you want.
And now you've got it on you to bring that atmosphere here next year,
we
right?
have a plan. We have a plan to we know our gym a little bigger, so we have to make some decisions. But what was fun was my AD went out to the match, and the next day he's like, we gotta do this next year. And so we got a couple ideas about how to hype it and hopefully get an enormous crowd. So we gotta play around with it a little bit